Chairman Smith and Co-Chairman Senator Merkley and the members of the Congressional-Executive Commission in China. Thank you all for having us and having me here today. So I want to start with, I'm a basketball player. I love going out there, competing with my teammates and trying to win a championship. But some of the things that are happening in my life obviously made me to a very different route. So for the last 10 years, I have been talking about the problems that are happening in Turkey. There are lots of human rights violations and political prisoners over there. And, I remember um, my family had to publicly disown me because they were getting affected so much. They put my dad in jail, they raided my house, and just recently they put a bounty on my head. They put my name on Interpol list, and I have 12 arrest warning for me. When the topic was Turkey, the NBA was very supportive, especially the commissioner, Adam Silver, and my teammates and the coaches and the 5 different organizations I play for. That actually gave me so much hope and motivation to fight against the dictatorship in Turkey. And just 3 years ago, I was actually doing a basketball camp in New York with the Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. And after the basketball camp, I was taking pictures with the kids one by one. And I remember taking a picture with this kid. And his parents called me out in front of everybody and said, how can you call yourself a human rights activist when your Muslim brothers and sisters are getting tortured and raped every day in concentration camp in China? So I turned around and I was like, I promise I'm going to get back to you. So that day I canceled everything. I went back to my hotel and I called my manager. I was like, I need you to find me a concentration camp survivor. He found a lady, we sit down and had a 1-hour conversation. And I remember she was telling me about all the torture methods and all the forced sterilization and abortion and stuff. And I was like, at the end of our conversation, I asked her, what can I do to help? She said, nothing. I was like, so we just had this 1-hour conversation for no reason. I was like, no. She said, I'm in America. I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. And I can eat whatever I want. Help those 2-3 million Uyghurs who are in concentration camp. So I wanted to bring awareness, and I wanted to do it in a very unique way. Because I remember when I was a kid, whenever I watched an NBA game, the first thing I was watching was the shoes, what color they are, if they're comfortable. And the next day I was telling my dad, please buy those shoes for me. So we decided to reach out to these artists around the world and who's been oppressed by their government. And we created the shoes as non-slave labor. And we put all these messages on our shoes, which there was no rule against us because 3 years ago when we were in NBA bubble, all the players were putting on their shoes, Black Lives Matter, Black Revolution, George Floyd, which I'm not against. So my first topic was Free Tibet. Our first game, I was playing for Boston Celtics. Our first game was against New York Knicks, our biggest rivalry. And I remember putting on this Free Tibet shoes. I went out there. I started to warm up. A minute before the game, there was 2 gentlemen from Boston Celtics came to me and said, take your shoes off. I was like, excuse me? I was like, your shoes has been getting so much attention internationally, you gotta take your shoes off. It was the perfect moment for me because I was just getting ready for my citizenship test. So I closed my eyes. I was like, okay, there are 27 amendments. My first amendment, freedom of speech. I turned around and said, no, I'm not taking them off. So they're like, what are you talking about? They said, I don't care even if I get fined, I'm not taking them off. They said, we're not talking about a fine, we're talking about getting banned. So at the halftime, I went back to my locker room. I played 0 minutes, and I looked at my phone. There was thousands of notifications. I clicked on the one that my manager sent me. He said, every Celtics game is banned in China. It literally took them 24 minutes, first quarter, 12 minutes, second quarter, 12 minutes, to ban every Celtics game on television. So that game, I played 0 minutes, which I played every game before that. We lost the game, obviously. And after the game, there was a media storm, and I told my manager, I don't want to do no media because I don't want my teammates to think that I'm doing it for attention. So after the actually first game, the NBPA, the Player Association, called me and said, you know what you did, you can never wear those shoes ever again. I was like, am I breaking any rules? They said, no, but you cannot wear them ever again. I talk about the problems that are happening in Turkey for the last 10 years. All I got was support, but the topic was China one day, and my phone was ringing once every hour. So they were pressuring me and my manager so much, I was like, you know what? I promise I'm not going to wear free Tibet shoes ever again. They said, promise? I promise. I hang up the phone. So the next game, I wore free Uyghur shoes. So they called me after the game. They said, you're a liar. You lied to us. I was like, first of all, I never lied to you. I never said I'm not going to wear free Tibet shoes. I just said Uyghur shoes. I just said I'm just not going to wear free Tibet shoes. So after the third game, one of my teammates walked up to me and said, this is your last year in NBA, right? You're never gonna get any contract after this because if you criticize NBA and Nike, it's over for you. And that pretty much happened. February came and that got released, and it was over for me. I want to say I love basketball. My job is not I'm not a politician. I should be on a basketball court working out and getting ready for the season. But unfortunately, because of the things that I said, it's not going to happen. But you know what? It's bigger than myself. It's bigger than basketball. It's bigger than NBA. And I will continue to be, a voice of all those innocent people out there who don't have a voice. And thank you all for, you know, organizing this beautiful hearing to be our voice. So this has definitely mean a lot to us. Thank you so much, guys.